So let's talk about the history of artificial intelligence. And this isn't just about the latest tech headlines, no. This is a story that's been unfolding for well over 70 years. A journey filled with incredible optimism, some pretty harsh realities, and a relentless chase after one single, profound question.
And it all really boils down to this. This is the question that started everything. Back in 1950, the brilliant mathematician Alan Turing didn't just wonder if machines could think, he actually proposed a way to find out. And that one question, it was the spark that lit the fuse for the entire field of AI.
Turing called it the imitation game, but you probably know it as the Turing Test. Okay, so imagine this. You've got a human judge who's texting with two mystery guests. One is a person, the other is a machine. If that judge can't reliably tell which is which, well, the machine passes the test. This was the very first real attempt to put a benchmark on machine intelligence, and it's a challenge that, honestly, still echoes today.
So Turing basically laid out the philosophical challenge. But it was going to take a whole crew of pioneers to turn that idea into a real, actual field of study.
And this is it. This is the moment AI officially gets its start. In the summer of '56, this incredible group of researchers, we're talking giants like John McCarthy, Marvin Minsky, and Claude Shannon, they all got together at Dartmouth College. They were working off this really bold idea that basically any part of intelligence could be described so precisely that a machine could be made to simulate it. And it was right there that McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence, giving a name to this brand new scientific frontier.
Now, those early years were just brimming with excitement. But AI's journey has been anything but a straight line. It's really a story of seasons, a cycle of what we call AI summers, full of hype and funding, followed by these cold, hard AI winters, filled with disappointment and budget cuts.
The first AI summer, back in the 60s, was a time of huge promises. I mean, researchers were talking about machines that could translate languages on the fly and solve super complex problems. And we saw some cool early stuff, like Shaky the robot, who could find its way around a room, and Eliza, a very early chatbot. But the problem was, even for simple tasks, the number of possible outcomes was just astronomical, something called a combinatorial explosion. It was a massive hurdle, and that dream of a truly intelligent machine turned out to be way, way further off than anyone thought.
So when you overpromise and underdeliver, people start to get skeptical. And in 1973, the Lighthill Report in the UK basically delivered the knockout punch, saying AI had failed to meet its grandiose objectives. That report, along with similar feelings in the US, led to some serious funding cuts. It was the start of the first long, cold AI winter.
But the field started to thaw out in the 1980s, thanks to a really smart shift in strategy. Instead of chasing that huge goal of general human-like intelligence, researchers started building what they called expert systems. The idea was to create AI programs that could be amazing at just one specific thing, like diagnosing blood infections or configuring a big computer system.
And you know what? This practical approach delivered real results. There was this one system called R1, built for a big computer company, and by 1986, it was saving them an incredible $40 million a year. That was a game changer. It proved that AI could actually provide real commercial value, which kicked off a whole new wave of investment and brought on the second AI summer. And then came the showdown that everybody was watching. When IBM's supercomputer Deep Blue beat the world chess champion Garry Kasparov, it felt like this huge symbolic moment, man versus machine. Now, Deep Blue wasn't thinking like a person. It was just a monster of raw computing power, analyzing a mind-boggling 200 million moves every single second. But it proved that, in a game that was long seen as the ultimate test of human intellect, a machine could come out on top. After another stretch of things being relatively quiet, we entered the third, and by far the biggest AI summer we've ever seen. And this wasn't just another cycle of hype. This was a flat-out revolution, and it was all powered by a new kind of engine, deep learning.
So what changed, right? Why did AI suddenly have this massive surge in the 21st century after decades of just inching along? Well, the answer is that three key things came together at the exact right time, creating the perfect storm for a breakthrough. First up,
Data, a ridiculous amount of it. The internet gave us this huge ocean of text and images. Datasets like ImageNet, with millions of labeled pictures, became the fuel for training AI. Second, a revolution in computer hardware. GPUs, which were first made for video games, turned out to be perfect for the kind of heavy-duty math needed to train these new AI models. And third, smarter algorithms. Old techniques got dusted off and improved, allowing us to build much, much deeper models that could learn incredibly complex patterns from all that data.
And with those three ingredients, data, hardware, and algorithms, the breakthroughs just started coming, one after another. In 2012, a model called AlexNet completely changed the game in image recognition. In 2016, AlphaGo beat the world's best Go player, something experts thought was still decades away. And then, in 2017, the invention of the transformer architecture opened the door for the powerful language models, like ChatGPT, that we're all talking about today.
And that brings us to right now, where AI isn't just something in a research lab anymore. It's a technology that is actively reshaping our world. And of course, with all this new power comes a whole new set of very complex challenges. Yeah, all this newfound power has brought some serious new problems to the table. AI systems trained on our data can pick up our own biases and flaws. The massive need for information raises huge questions about our privacy. And if an automated system makes a mistake, who's to blame? But maybe the biggest challenge is what they call the black box problem. A lot of these powerful models are so complicated that even the people who made them can't fully explain how they make their decisions.
So, after this long and winding journey, full of incredible highs and some pretty serious lows, we find ourselves at a really critical moment in the history of artificial intelligence. When you look back, the big takeaway is that the history of AI isn't a story of one sudden revolution. It's really about a slow, cyclical evolution. It's a story of huge dreams running up against the hard wall of reality, of cold winters that eventually give way to vibrant new summers of innovation. And that cycle, it's still happening right now.
The AI we have today would have absolutely blown the minds of its pioneers, but it's still a work in progress. At the end of the day, it's a powerful tool, and like any tool, its impact is going to be a reflection of our own values and choices. So, the future of AI isn't just a technical question, it's a human one. How will we choose to write the next chapter in this extraordinary story?